the issue is, how can you replicate the 1L a year for people online? And I think you're right. Zoom's pretty amazing, and I don't know that I'm going to lose a ton. I mean, I give anything to get back in the classroom, but I lose a ton by being on Zoom. But it is really hard for the 1Ls in particular to forge relationships, to make connections with people, to do the networking. And, I guess it's worth thinking for a minute about how, I'll just say, at NYU, I know we're trying to do a number of things, including I just got an email from the dean asking us about 1L reading groups. We had decided not to have them this year just because everybody's under a lot of pressure, but a lot of students are asking that we have them, and thinking I'm gonna teach one on what's gone wrong with policing, or what hasn't gone wrong with policing.
That'll be easy.
It would be a shorter thing to talk about, but I think that's, and I've suggested that we do that, which is we find, whether you're all virtual or whether you've got folks in the room, to try to get small groups of people together to try to build those relationships. But do you have other suggestions about how students go about networking and clubs and organizations? And
it's a great question, and Elisa, thanks for asking it. So I do hope, your school should be helping you out a bit by setting up access points, and I'm sure that all the student orgs are going to be reaching out through electronic means and so on and so forth. I'm sure your classmates are going to have something which I've never used, I'm embarrassed to say, called Slack, where people, right. So I think there are going to be a lot of opportunities to create communities, both large and small, and you obviously should look for them. One thing, I always tell students, you may feel some reluctance, maybe you don't, to reach out to professors and see, whether it's office hours, or another way to go, which some students have done, and my students have done in the past, is 4 or 5 of them get together and say, hey, Professor Goldberg, we're all in your torts class. Can we get lunch or a cup of coffee with you? Well, you can do a virtual version of that. So, send, I don't know if your prof can do it or not, maybe they're too busy or whatever, but you could certainly, couldn't hurt to ask. So get a couple of friends together and say, hey, why don't we have a virtual lunch? We'll all be eating lunch on screen, but let's have a virtual lunch with 5 people and talk about what we've been talking about in torts class or whatever. So I think be creative and reach out to people, and don't be shy, and you'll start making those connections.
Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them, and feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.